okay, whatever reason, this stopped and started. So I'm going to start all over. All right, y'all. I am in Saratoga Springs, New York. Gorgeous. They have me on what's called a just-in-time load, which it wasn't in time. JIT should really be given to teams, and the reason they should be given to teams is because there's 5,000 factors that can happen. If the shipper's late and you still want to try to get it there on time, then you have a team that can try to make up the time because the truck is continuing moving. For me, I'm on the clock, so I have to shut down at a certain time. I had it's just crazy. On the way up there was an accident on Indiana, on 80 off of Indiana and Illinois are. There was another accident once I hit into PA, and I really believe it was a truck and a car. I only saw the aftermath of the car and the guardrail, and the only reason I think a truck was involved is because there was so much guardrail damage, and normally when you see a truck overturning off a guardrail, it does some massive damage. And there were guys that were looking over the edge, so that's what made me think there was a truck involved. The car was, God bless them if they even came out that car alive. And shortly after I saw that and I was getting tired, I was like, you know what, I had an hour and some change left on my clock, and I was going to try to go to mile marker 78 or exit 78, and I'm happy I didn't. I stopped at the TA off, I think it was 38, 39, something like that, and I stopped at that TA, and I'm very happy that I actually did stop at that TA. I spent the night there, got up early in the morning, took me a shower, tried to wash some laundry. So I did my shower and laundry at the same time. Got out of there right after my pre-trip. So I really only did maybe 8 hours of sleep. I'm very tired. Got out of there after I did my pre-trip. Sent all my messages because we have to send temperature messages. And what else did I do after that? Something else I did. I did that, so then I bunked down. I got headed out, and then I got to my fuel stop, and that's when I knew I was like, "There's no way I'm going to make the time." So I sent them a message letting them know that I wasn't going to make the actual time that was set. I'm not a fan of driving the Northeast. I like driving everything Pennsylvania, west thereof, with the exception of Los Angeles. Everything else, north to south, from Pennsylvania going west coast, with the exception of Los Angeles, I don't mind driving. Anything west of Pennsylvania, I'll drive Illinois. Chicago freeway, I hate driving Chicago too, instead of that. But it is what it is. It just is what it is. I'll do the clock in a minute. This Saratoga Springs, New York is very pretty. DCI Jams, I didn't know you're from New Jersey. I'm not a fan of New Jersey. When I went on my training with the company I'm with now, back in 2010, and when I went out with my mentor, I had to come out trucking school. We had a Domino's Sugar. I think it's Baltimore, Maryland, but it's still the East Coast, still that kind of close-knit background. New Jersey reminded me very much of it. And we had to go through all the New Jersey tolls. We went through the tolls 3 or 4 times trying to find this place. And I think it's Baltimore, Maryland, New Jersey, where Domino's Sugar Plant is at. I can't remember. It's right off the water, real close to downtown. And we had to do a blind side back. I had to do one yesterday too, and I had blind side back. I'm getting better at it again, but just took my time. Just take my time in my back. But I did a blind side back yesterday in New Jersey at that facility. I had to do a blind side back. The trailers were so tight, we had to bungee the cords to the trailer so that they wouldn't rip off when we were backing it in case they bumped the other trailer, because they were going to most likely bump the other trailer. We had to turn our side mirrors in. It was hellacious. And so I've never been a fan of this East Coast area. This one's not too bad where I'm at right now. In the state of New York, I'm okay with. As long as it's not really tight areas. This is a warehouse facility, so it's not bad. They've got good open room where you can turn around, you can back in, you can pull up. You got some maneuvering to do. You got some like the one I did yesterday in New Jersey. I was just sweating, just trying to get this thing in that dock. And I got it in there. And it was tight. I mean, they were even having like their trailers parked in front, and then it just is on the side. Anyway, I got down to 2 hours last night, and I would have probably got out of there, but they got quite further, but they hadn't removed the dock plate, and they had the red light on. And when I went out there with the bills, it told me, oh, you can move, but I went back and looked, because if I see that red light on, I'm going to go back and look. You know, if they tell you to move, even I think with the green light, sometimes you need to double check and make sure that they have the dock plate up and that the forklift is off. So when I look in between where you're docking, and I look at a little gap, I can see the dock plate and I can see the forklift sitting on the dock plate. So had I done what they told me, my company I would have had probably an incident, because the damn dock plate and the freaking forklift would have fell off. So I had to go back in after I got everything sent and wait for them to remove that. So by the time they got done getting somebody to move all that, I was down to 2 hours. So my only option at that point was to park, because you're dealing with New York and New Jersey, and I probably would have run out of hours. Yeah, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this part of the country, so I'm hoping they get me out of here. Like I said, everything west of Pennsylvania and west thereof, I'm cool with. Also, I don't know if they pay you for extra up here on the East Coast. There are a lot of companies, because they know the stress level, because yesterday my back was like this, and they know what you have to go through to get up here. They actually pay you extra for the Northeast, because they don't get a lot of drivers who are willing to even want to drive this area because of how difficult it is, especially in a large truck. One of the freeways I came through off New Jersey, I almost had to take up 2 lanes, me and another truck, because it was so tight just coming around, and they're doing construction. It was one of the, I can't remember where it was at. It's a transition coming out of New Jersey. They're doing, because it's right after the drawbridge, and it is just tight as hell. And the car started to stand back, because me and this other truck, we were behind each other. He was like one in front of me, and we just kind of had to take take an extra lane, because it is so freaking tight. Yeah, I'm not, this is not my neck of the woods. Now, I love the New York State. It's gorgeous. Like right now, what I'm seeing is very pretty. I'll see if I can get a picture of this for later. But it's a very pretty area. Green, trees, even the drive here in upstate New York is nice. And I like the way East Coast Drive. The East Coast Drive is nice. The open road, but I'm more of the country open area driver. I'm not. But I guess I'm getting my waddling feet wet again in doing this, and definitely I'll be prepared in about 6 months, within 4 to 6 months, to make the next move that I'm going to make. But yeah, I'm tired right now. I could use a nap. I got another. Well, hopefully I'll get this next load. I gotta see what my time looks like. I gotta go in here and do my hours.
Home.
I'm gonna do
messaging. You have 1 hour and 28 minutes of remaining drive time.
It's talking to me.
Messaging.
Don't talk anymore. I'm gonna do the video probably later tonight before I go to bunk on the whole women in trucking and scholarship thing that I saw in the article. But just catching you guys up with last night. So I did get here. I didn't get here at 8:30 in the morning though, and I sent it this morning when I got up, and I figured out what my time was gonna look like, because I was trying to see if the system was gonna let me do a split, and it didn't. Only gave me like 3 hours and change, and this is about a 4-hour drive. So I had to wait for the full 10 to come back, and that put me getting here at about 11. I actually got here at 11:30. So I got here at 11:30. I'm supposed to be here at 8:30. And then just trying to do the interchange is hellish. And then I had to stop and go to the bathroom. They're like, hey, you keep going to the final. And I'm like, I'm human. I got to go to the bathroom, because I didn't even get to go to the bathroom this morning. I headed out, and then finally when I got to a toll plaza, I pulled in and I had to go. So I had to have the morning constitutional, as they say. So I did that this morning, and that's about it. So I know some of you guys are thinking about coming in. Some of you are looking at it, doing right now. They're going to challenge you. They're going to give you some crazy stuff. Like right now, I'm like, even just giving, I was talking to Trucker Bill. He said, why in the hell they give a solo driver a JIT? I said, you know what, Bill? I didn't worry about it. I said, because I told her when I was looking at it, I told my driver manager, I was like, this is a JIT. And I was looking at it like, And, you know, because if the shipper's late getting your stuff, and I don't drive crazy. Let me say that to you guys, too. So I talked about driving those curves, corners, and turns. The accidents that I saw 2 very, very, very bad rollovers yesterday. And, one, like I said, he or she might have survived the one off of 78. The one, that 280, I think it's 285 through 287, that one, or 258 through 287, whichever one it was. That one, if that person walked away, it's bad. And both of these guys were coming out of curves. I can already look and see. I mean, could they fall asleep? Sure, but where the happened at was coming out of curves. So let me tell you what I experienced. I used to be, I told you, with Warner. And that was actually a company I chose first for trucking, coming out of trucking school, because they allowed me to have a dog on the truck. And that's critical, because right now doing this, I'm realizing I really want a dog on the truck with me. I like the companionship thing like that, and this company doesn't allow me to have it. So I'm going to, pray about it, but I'm looking owner op anyway, so then I can have my dog. And you can't even, like, Prime, you can have your dog and train on the truck, I guess, if it's okay between you and the student. They don't allow that here. So, even if you became an owner op, you can't do it. Because I talked to Trainer Bill, and he's like, no, you can't do it. So, I'm praying about it a lot right now. To me, I just like the companionship. And then you could go, like, getting a letter from your doctor, doing a service pet. I thought about that. I don't know. I don't like playing the manipulation game. It's not my style. I'm just more straightforward. But, when I was with Werner, they were telling you, I had 3 trainers and 2 guys. The guys were just a hot mess, cowboys. One, he would, you can take that corner and curve. It says 65. That's for trucks too. No, it's not. It's for cars, unless it says trucks. And even then, I cut the speed. Then the other dude, he said the same thing pretty much, and was in the mountains and stuff, and snow and stuff with jakes on. You can put your jakes on, just put them on high, in wet weather and ice and snow. You do not take them off. There's reasons for that. Okay, he's coming to me. He's walking to us. What I saw yesterday, I know for pretty much I got a good feeling. These guys were, because I saw people hauling behind on this. And I'm watching some, like, and you even see when they move over and the whole tail goes like this because they're moving over so fast. You ease into stuff. I ease into all my stuff. I don't, I tell people, I'm not trying, that's why I said JIT, trying to get me to be like 63 miles, 65 miles an hour. Yeah, on straightaways. But corners, curves, turns, no, I slow that truck down. And if the road is real raggedy, depending on what I'm carrying, or if I don't know what I'm carrying, if I know what I'm carrying, but I haven't seen how it's loaded, nope. I'm not trying to kill nobody. I ain't trying to kill myself. It's like the kids who dropped that trailer off. I was like, there's a difference when you're chasing money so hard that you put all of the safety to the side. But the last trainer I had was a female, and she said, oh yeah, take that corner curve at 65 miles an hour. And I didn't. I lowered my speed. Thank God I did what my trucking school had instructed. And it was in New York. We were coming out of a curve, and that whole entire truck began to slide linear right. When we got to the the consignee, and we opened the back door, and I think that was a refrigerated load, as a matter of fact, temperature control. When we got to the consignee, she had gotten out and opened the doors because we were about to switch. And she came, because she said, oh no, the truck isn't sliding, you're a mess. That lady's face was white. She's like, you felt the truck sliding. I told your crazy behind I felt this truck sliding. I held the wheel, I came off of the accelerator, and I just let it coast, and the wheels caught up, and then, so, don't hit the brakes. That makes it even worse, because if you're already moving this way, all it's going to do when you lock the brakes up is take it to a tilt. So I just came off and let it coast, and the wheels kind of just caught up and kept it where it was supposed to be. That experience changed my entire perspective on curves, corners, and turns. Especially off ramps, things like that when you're coming down. The company I'm at now, in our orientation, they said it was funny that they said it. They were asking about corners, curves, and turns, and off ramps and on ramps, and they said, how fast should you take them? And I said, 10, 15 miles. They said no. Their thing for safety is taking half of the posted speed limit. And I mean, that's slow. So if you got 25, you're taking it like 12 miles an hour. And they don't get too much of an argument for me. I do, like I said, anywhere from 10 miles to half or even lower than that. Whatever's comfortable. And a lot of times, this is the other thing, I don't know if people pay attention to what their truck is doing. How it feels, how it's leaning. This one I noticed when I saw the load. Well, I did a scale and I noticed that most of the weight was put on my back axles of the truck. Not the trailer, my actual truck. What's in between this, you have your steer axles, you have the rear axles that hold your fifth wheel, and then you have the axles on the back of the trailer. Well, most of the weight was sitting right up front, right on the back of my fifth wheel, where my fifth wheel's at, when I did the scale. And then I also noticed that when I was doing my turns, I could see that it was leaning a little more. So I knew, however they stacked it, it was stacked high. Pay attention to what you're driving. And, I don't get it. But what I did want to say yesterday, and I was so tired I didn't say it last night. Yes, it was Sunday. And for the Christian folks that watch, and for those who have some belief, God has always watched out for me. And it was funny because when I pulled off the road, because I was tired, I got really, really tired, and I knew I was down to an hour and change. I had enough to get to the mile marker 78, the exit 78, that TA. But I pulled off into one before because something just said, no, pull off here. And then I struggled because I kept looking like, should I go? Should I stay? And it wouldn't have mattered because I still was going to run probably behind by the time I got up for my hours to start back up to get to the next place. Because I already was put 5 or 6 hours behind by the shipper and by sending stuff over to my company. And by the time I got up the next morning and got ready and started heading out, I saw the aftermath, and I knew that was something that most likely probably happened either probably that evening is what I'm thinking. Because people were hauling, these truckers were hauling, but, I know these companies may pressure you to try to get something there, and they trying to balance it between safety and I want it on time. But the reality is, you do have teams that can get stuff there safely without you flying through the wind. There's other ways they can get that freight to where it needs to go safely. And ultimately, at the end of the day, and it's something I learned from Truckerville, your life is more important, and the life of the motoring people. And you're conscious that, you ain't kill nobody trying to get a hot load somewhere. And sometimes you put in a position where you're already behind the 8 ball. So it is what it is. And if they're going to hold that against you, then there's other companies out there. You have to come in this with a decision on who you're going to be in the industry. Are you going to be, I'm going to go 150 miles an hour and I'm going to look at this as a roller coaster ride and it's fun, but yet I know the risk that this trailer could turn over? Are you going to be that person? So what I'm going to challenge you guys is really think about it. But God has watched out for me because I really believe I get these unctionings. Like that one said, pull over, get on off, go to bed. It happened to me back in 2010. I remember there was that, and then I see the aftermath, and I'm like, well, Lord, thank you. I didn't go, I wasn't here when this happened. I pulled off. I had another load. I pulled off and had to go to the bathroom and get some stuff for my stomach at a Walmart. And then when I got back on the highway, I was running low on hours, and I was 10 miles from where I was going to exit. And lo and behold, I had to get off sooner. This is where the flatbed company was. And I parked in their lot. Let me tell you, I look at it, God is good. Because there was some kind of accident. I saw all the medical vehicles start coming. And I was like, okay, had I not made that stop, I probably would have been more in the midst or maybe involved in. Same thing when there was a tornado out in Oklahoma. I was supposed to do, a same company I'm with now. I was supposed to do a load that was going to Oklahoma. I got put on safety hold because I had to take their simulator class. And I got shut down in Texas, and Lancaster, Texas. So I had to take simulator class there. Somebody else, and I ran into that driver, and he told me all the hell he went through on that particular load, the whole tornado drama. It tore up the lubs down there. And it's always kind of like that for me. I'm either behind it or I'm stable somewhere to where I'm not involved in it. I just, God has blessed me like that, and He kind of watches over me on this road. So I really believe faith out here is really important. So I don't know how you can't drive and see some of the stuff we've seen. I've seen some bad accidents besides just the one that I saw. The two that I saw yesterday. The one with the on the side wasn't as bad. It was that one at mile marker 258, 285. That one was bad. The whole the whole cab axle was like over where some trees were further down. That's how they took out the guardrail. The only thing that was still almost one piece was the trailer. The whole cab, it was dismantled into pieces. The axle was like over. You pass axle all the way up there, the drive axle. The trailer itself, like there was parts of it, or the tractor, it was bad. It was, like I said, if that person even survived that, if they even survived that, they need to go to church and just lay at the altar, and whatever God is calling them to do, they really need to do. It was bad. Anyway, guys, I think this is 20 minutes. I'm shut it off. Shout out to DCI Jams, and I've just been running. So hopefully next week, I just sent her a reminder message. I'm doing home time. Prayerfully, I want to be home by the 17th. Because I have an appointment on the 18th with my doctor, so I can re-up my meds and get that done. And I'm hoping to get by a pharmacy because I'm running low right now on some stuff. I was hoping they could get me close back to that terminal, because then I think they said they'll let you borrow the company company van, and there's a CVS over there, so I can go. My doctor called in some ribs to get me till I get back on the 17th, 18th, because my appointment's on the 18th. You guys, if you're running out here, be safe. If you're looking at coming in the industry, be safe. Take your time, learn it, have some standards about yourself. Yeah, and money's important, but money is not worth your life or somebody else's.